America.
This is VOA News. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton. Denmark's energy agency has said one of two Nord Stream natural gas pipelines has stopped leaking. AP correspondent Karen Chamas has more.
The company operating the pipelines, which runs from Russia to Germany, informed the Danish Energy Agency that the pressure in one of the pipelines had stabilized. The agency said this was an indication the leaking of natural gas had stopped. Recent undersea blasts that damaged the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines have led to huge methane leaks. Nordic investigators said the blasts have involved several hundred pounds of explosives. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has accused the West of sabotage. US officials said that Putin's claim was trying to shift attention from his recent annexation of parts of Ukraine. I'm Karen Chamas.
Venezuela's government has freed 7 Americans imprisoned in the South American country in exchange for the release of 2 nephews of President Nicolas Maduro's wife. The nephews had been jailed for years by the United States on drug smuggling convictions. The swap of the Americans, including 5 oil executives imprisoned for nearly 5 years, is the largest trade of detained citizens that the Biden administration has ever carried out. It amounts to an unusual gesture of goodwill by Maduro as he looks to rebuild relations with the United States after vanquishing most of his opponents. It follows months of secretive talks, including repeated visits to Venezuela over the past year by Washington's top hostage negotiator. British Prime Minister Liz Truss met her Danish counterpart on Saturday and discussed what they agreed was sabotage to the Nord Stream gas pipelines. This, according to Truss's office, in a statement. You can keep up on that story and all the stories we're covering at our website, voanews.com. This is VOA News. The government of Nicaragua has broken off diplomatic relations with the Netherlands over accusations of interventionism. This comes hours after it said it would bar the new U.S. ambassador from entering the country because of what it called his interfering attitude. Brazil's polarizing presidential campaign wraps up today as incumbent Jair Bolsonaro and frontrunner Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva hold rival rallies. A Saturday poll has Lula ahead going into Sunday's elections. Evacuations are underway in Florida, where Hurricane Ian devastated parts of the state and cut off Sanibel Island from the mainland. AP correspondent Julie Walker has a report.
While first responders are on rescue missions in southwest Florida, so are some residents like Matt Mangle and his friends searching for survivors on Sanibel Island.
We had gasoline, we had jet ski, we had water, we had food and snacks, and our mission was just to go find them, dead or alive.
And they found them.
We heard a lady screaming out, "Help, help."
They flagged down the Coast Guard to assist and were able to help several other elderly people as well. Mengel says so much of Sanibel Island and Fort Myers are just flattened and destroyed.
It's literally a nightmare on Sanibel. Like, my buddy works at the Shalimar Resort in the gym there. He's out of a job now. He has no job because the Shalimar Resort is completely flattened. It's depressing.
I'm Julie Walker.
Groups of Cubans have protested in the streets of Havana for a second night, criticizing delays in fully restoring electricity. This 3 days after Hurricane Ian knocked out power across the island. A foreign monitoring group said Cuba's internet service shut down Friday for the second time in 2 days, saying it appeared to be unrelated to problems from the storm, but rather an attempt to keep information on the protests from spreading. People demonstrated in at least 5 spots in the city or in its outskirts, including the Barreras and La Galega districts, where residents blocked streets with burning tires and garbage. Power was back on in some parts of Havana that were dark on Thursday, but officials gave no information on how much of the city lacked electricity. Anti-government demonstrators took to the streets in Thailand's capital Saturday following a court ruling allowing Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha to stay in office. Around 500 demonstrators gathered at Bangkok's Victory Monument to protest the ruling. In August, Thai opposition political parties filed cases with Thailand's constitutional court, arguing that the prime minister's time in the job should have ended this year, saying his term began with a coup in which he took over power in 2014. The court disagreed. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton.